Started. All right, thank you everybody for joining me today on Survive to Thrive. I have a very special guest that I'm super excited to introduce to all of you. He is my friend and team leader for the Aventura Market Center, Lee Rosa.
Hello.
That was amazing. Lee, tell us who you are. Gee whiz.
My goodness. So my name is Lee Rosa. I got licensed in 2005. 2005, built a real estate business with my business partner. We've been business partners for 12 years. Our brand is RGT Home Experts. And fast forward, started my career in Orlando. And of course, we transferred down here to South Florida, where I am born and raised. And RGT Home Experts has closed around 1,700 homes in our career. And I stepped out of sales in 2016 to lead the Aventura Market Center as the team leader. And RGT Home Experts still sells around 100 homes a year after year after year, following the models, systems, and tools that John teaches every day, powered by Keller Williams.
Well done. Thank you, Lee. So Lee, the reason I asked you to join us this morning is you were doing some research on the market in, I believe, Hollywood. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell us, would you share with us what you found, please?
Yeah. So back in 2007, 8, and 9, we learned that statistics help us tell a story, and otherwise everything is emotion. It doesn't work. The market's horrible. And so I've always been a student of the game. And as the temperature of this market is starting to shift from a sizzling hot market to a lukewarm market, like a grandfather clock, I am consistently checking different neighborhoods or cities in what truly is going on. So every Wednesday, I am on a pod call with a group of agents that are highly successful all around the country. And we share where our markets are. They're in Boston, they're in South Carolina, and here in South Florida. And so I pulled out statistics of Hollywood Hills, which is the neighborhood that I reside in. And if anyone has attempted to write offers in Hollywood Hills over the last couple of years, you know, the second a house came on the market, there was about 23 offers, and it was how high can you go over list price. With that said, I pulled this morning the statistics, and I'm going to walk you guys through, and cash, as Tara said, absolutely. Cash on cash on cash. And so I'm going to walk you guys through how I pulled the statistics, and I'm going to tell the story behind it. So currently in the area that I searched, and I save a search so it's the same area every time, there are currently 73 active homes for sale. And this is the criteria that I'm choosing: single family home in this area. 73 active listings. Over the past 6 months, so then I go closed, 180 days, there were 110 units that closed. So then what I do is I take the 110 and I divide it by 6, because it was 6 months, which gives me the average. Gives me the average amount of homes that were selling over the last 6 months, and that gave me 18. So there are 73 units for sale, and on average, 18 had been selling over the last 6 months. Now, I want to know, where's the trend going? Is the market getting hotter, or is the market cooling off? So then I take the last 30 days closed. So instead of 180 days, I now change the criteria to the last 30 days. And that gave me 13 closed in the last 30 days. So we went from an average of 18 to 13. So as a group, is the trend getting hotter or is the trend getting cooler? I see you guys are muted. So the trend is,
No, they're not. They can talk. It's definitely getting cooler.
yeah. So on average, 18 had been closed. And in the last 30 days, we've cooled down to 13. Now, that then gives us the X and the Y, if you will, to see what the month's supply of inventory is. And so we take what has been selling, 13, divide it by what is active, and it tells you the month's supply of inventory. So what does month's supply of inventory mean? Month's supply of inventory means if no other homes come on the market at the current pace, it will take 5.5 months, if we round it up to 6 months, to sell what's currently on the market. If no other homes come on the market, but will more homes
Always
come on the
coming on
market
the
next
market.
month, team?
Yeah. There's always new homes coming on the market, Lee, of course.
Of
We know
course.
that. Yeah.
And so, John, that's why the trend is so important. We went from 18 selling to 13, which means that month supply of inventory is on a trend to grow.
Here's what really stood out to me, Lee, when I was reading your post this morning. First of all, you sent this out to our leadership team via text, and then you also posted this to Facebook. And here's, if I can put a bow on this, everybody pay really close attention. We've gone from a half-month supply of inventory from 14 days, 2 weeks, days supply of inventory to 5.6 months. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. Now, Lee, on page 9 of Shift, Gary talks about the anatomy of a shift, and he says shifts are easy to understand. They occur whenever supply and demand move out of balance. When seller supply exceeds buyer demand, it's a buyer's market. When buyer demand exceeds seller supply, it's a seller's market. A shift occurs when the market moves from one to the other. You know, Gary didn't say a shift occurs when we move from a seller's market, less than 30 days of inventory, to a buyer's market, more than 6 months of inventory. He simply said a shift occurs when we move from more to less, or from less to more. Now, I want to piggyback what Lee shared with you and give you some, and I'm going to leave you right there on the screen next to me, Lee, because I figured out how to do that, and I'm so proud of myself. Closed sales year to date in Coral Springs, Parkland. 2,628 single-family homes have closed. Actually, it's single-family homes, condos, villas, and townhomes. So I did everything. Have closed year to date. Same time last year, there were 3,447 units closed. So that's a decrease of 23.7% year to date. Now, what's interesting, let's go ahead and write that on the board, okay? So we've got a decrease of 23.7% in units closed year to date. Now, I've been having some conversations with other real estate agents, and one of the things that I've heard is, yeah, but, okay? Yeah, but, John, that's the overall market. Homes are still selling super fast in these lower price ranges. Yes or yes? Yeah, they are. And if you would put it in the chat, okay, there's a lot of you on Zoom, so just put it in the chat. Are you selling more homes between 350 and 500? Or are you selling more homes between 500 and 750? It could be, are you showing more homes? If you're out showing properties, if you're going on listing appointments, if you're going on preview appointments, just where are you spending most of your time? 350 to 500, 500 to 750. Now, you could also look 750 to 1 million. The next question that I would have for you, first question was, where are you spending most of your time? Next question is, if you were to guess which one of these price ranges, 350 to 500, 500 to 750, or 750 to 1 million, have seen the biggest decrease year to date, which one of these price ranges would you say has seen the biggest decrease?
750 to 1 million.
Yeah, I thought you guys would say that. So that's the vote. Now, here's the answer. You guys ready? Year to date, sales between 350 and 500 are down by 63.4%.
Wow.
Sales between 500 and 750 are down by 21.7%. That pretty much lines up with what we're seeing in the overall market. That's a pretty good representation of what's going on in the market. And you guys ready for this? Sales are even year to date between 750 and $1 million. I'll give you the actual numbers. Between 750 and $1 million in Coral Springs, Parkland, 2021, there were 435 units closed. So far this year, there's 443. It's actually a little bit more. Kind of surprised, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. And Gary goes on to say on page 49, I'm always going to bring you back to perspective. And the perspective that I want you to have here is this is an opportunity conversation. If I'm you, I'm excited about this conversation. It doesn't scare me. It actually excites me because this creates what type of market? A skill-based market. And buyers and sellers need real estate agents that are the local economists of choice, that are strategic pricing professionals. And because you're spending time learning, mastering your craft in order to become the local economist of choice, in order to become a strategic pricing professional, it's advantage you. If I'm in Hollywood Hills, I think that's the neighborhood you shared with us, right, Lee?
Yes.
If I don't know if that's a neighborhood or an area or a street or a lake, because I don't know anything about anything south of 595.
It's a neighborhood.
Okay, it's a neighborhood. And if I'm you, I'm taking the data that Lee just shared, I'm turning it into a marketing campaign. I'm turning it into a door knocking campaign. I'm getting on the phone and I'm calling everybody in my database, my sphere of influence. Hey, let me share some information with you. The purpose of the call is lead with gratitude and bring value to every conversation. Is this value? One of the questions I might ask somebody is, hey, if you knew 6 months ago that we were moving from less than 30 days of inventory to 6 months of inventory, if you knew that 6 months ago, would you have put your home on the market 6 months ago? Would your plans have changed? If you could go back and do it again, what would you do different? Now, the follow-up question would be, what if 6 months from now, there's a year of inventory? And you had an opportunity today to make a new decision based on new information. What would that look like? Just out of curiosity, let's talk. Script, write it down, write it down. Okay, page 49, Gary says, fewer leads, fewer showings, and increased days on the market. The minute these signs show up, take notice. Don't ignore them and don't wait to act. These are the early warning signals of what is most likely coming next. More inventory and fewer pendings. So I've got news for you. We're already past here's what's coming next. We're there. We're in that more inventory, fewer pending stage. Again, don't panic. In the worst real estate market our country has ever seen, there were 4.2 million homes sold. 4.2 million people moved. It's a motivation conversation. When the market is hot, people are motivated by the possibility of making a great investment and getting a great return on that investment. They're also motivated by the need to buy a new home, to move because of a job transfer, to move because they need more space because their family grew. They're motivated to sell because a family member passed away and they have to sell the home, a divorce. There's all of these other things that cause people to sell. Now, when the market shifts, those conditions don't stop. People are still getting new jobs. People are still getting married. People are still having babies. Unfortunately, people are still dying and people are still getting divorces. In other words, people are still selling homes. So in the worst real estate market, you can hit whatever goal you have. Here's how. Just because the market has moved from more to less doesn't necessarily mean you have to. As leads become fewer, you must recognize the situation and make a more concerted effort to generate leads. You can't sit back. You must be more rigorous and resolute in your lead generation than ever before, and more so than anyone else. Did you guys, and I'm asking a question, and the answer to the question is yes. Well, maybe it's yes. Because I'm going to ask you, did you see, if you're part of the Waxman Group, did you see the stats report that went out for August? Yes or no?
So,
And if
so
you
John,
didn't go,
I love that you asked that because I taught a class last night and I started it with asking that exact same question. Did you
Yeah.
guys look at the email that came out with April statistics?
let me guess, Lee, less than 25% of the people in the room said yes.
Crickets.
We're spending money on this. It's incredible information. Go find that email and download that report. If you go to my Facebook page, if you go to the Survive to Thrive page, which you all belong to, you'll find the report. Not only that, but you'll find my analysis on the report. And one of the things you're going to see is how I would use this report if I were you. And one of the things that I would do is I would look at each of those price categories at the percentage of homes that are not selling, the percentage of homes that are coming off the market as canceled, withdrawn, or expired. And the numbers are much higher than you think they are. Even in the best markets where there's low inventory and lots of sales, there's still 25, 27% of the properties that are going on the market that are not selling. Now, that number goes as high as 70%, as high as 67, if I remember right. I'm not looking at it now. 2 out of 3 properties going on the market that aren't selling. Nick, if I'm you, that's where I'm mining for gold. Every single day, I'm pulling the expireds and I'm making calls. Hey, this is John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. Reason for my call is I noticed your listing came off the market. Are you still interested in selling your home? Now, you want to get to that question before they hang up the phone on you. Hey, John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. Just curious, are you still interested in selling your home? No, I'm not. Okay, before I go, if I had a full price offer on your home today, would you want me to bring you the offer? That's where I would live. If I'm you, I see this as nothing but opportunity.
Amen.
All right. Guys, raise your hand. Talk to me. Ask questions. We don't have Lee on here with us every day, so here's your chance. Go get them.
So exciting.
In regards to the expires, this